I don't feel guilty about food as much because I feel good about what I'm eating.
Good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on where you are in the world. It's Rachael here at Ditch the Diet and welcome to another episode of the Ditch the Diet podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today's podcast episode is all about the Ditch the Diet Academy because we are about to reopen the Academy for new members. And for those of you out there who want to join or are a bit sceptical perhaps or are not sure what to expect, then this episode is dedicated to you. Just before we get started, just a quick reminder that this Sunday, if you're listening to the episode on the day it comes out, this Sunday the 31st of August, I am running a brand new 5-day introduction to Ditch the Diet course, which you can join before you even consider joining the full academy by going to www.ditchthedietacademy.com/5 days. That's the number 5 and the word days. And you can join the 5-day introduction to see if you think Ditch the Diet is for you. So before we dive into today's episode, I thought I would tell you a little bit about the podcast for those of you that are brand new. The Ditch the Diet podcast is for people like yourselves who want to learn how to quit yo-yo dieting, to improve their relationship with food, to increase self-esteem and just to get that good feeling back that you lost a long time ago, perhaps when you started this dieting journey that you've been on. And I just want you to understand that there is so much more to losing weight than just simply what you eat and how you exercise. There is so much more to learn. This process can be enjoyable, it doesn't need to be stressful, it doesn't need to be restrictive. And hopefully, after you start listening to some of our podcast episodes, remember there are over 70 episodes now in the bank, you'll understand that there is so much more to life than being on a diet. So that is my mission. Hopefully you will understand that mission by the end of this episode. This is a special episode actually because we are talking to one of our Ditch the Diet Academy members about her time in the Academy so far. So you'll be listening to Nina's story today. She has been a member for just 3 weeks, so very new member. And hopefully you'll learn about the Academy and what you can expect when you join. So here is Nina talking about the Academy. I'll be back at the end to tell you more about how you can find out more. So what was your life like before you joined Ditch the Diet in relation to sort of diet, food, exercise, all these kinds of things?
Not great. I'm a teacher, so things are pretty busy. So I would plan our evening meals and stick to that. But food, other than that, was a bit grab and go without much thought. So often it wasn't the most healthy choices. And then I would spend a lot of time feeling quite guilty about that and feeling unhealthy, but then swinging quite wildly between life's too short, I should be able to eat what I want, and then, I must lose weight, I must diet, I can't touch that food, and going really from one extreme to the other, I think. So I had quite... it's a process, isn't it? So I wouldn't say I'm completely out of this now, but my self-image certainly was really quite poor, and I felt very self-conscious about it, and I didn't any event where you had to get dressed up or look nice I found really stressful, and it is definitely improving now, but 2 or 3 months ago that was a really negative part, I guess, of life. Just never felt good in anything, so that was stressful. Yeah.
And did you say you're a teacher?
Yeah,
so you have quite a busy life then.
Yeah, so in terms of exercise, I mean, I would, once a week was, I did a Pilates class, but that was a lot of effort to get to, and that was sometimes the only exercise in a week. If you take out things like, I wasn't even thinking about walking very much, and it would be when I could fit it in, and often things would clash with it, sort of open evenings, parents' evenings, would mean I couldn't go. So it was diet and exercise really were the bottom of the pile in terms of my thinking and my organisation.
Yeah. And had you what was the catalyst for joining ditched the diet then? Did you have new goals that arose, or was it something in particular?
I think trying to get back in control of my health largely. I tried things in the past that had helped in the short term, but I just really wanted to feel like I was in control, I guess, not so much I've got to follow the rules of this program. So I think I've been feeling bad about the way I looked for a long time. I was the heaviest that I'd been ever, and I find work really stressful. So I just wanted something that was more about my health overall, that wasn't just about losing weight. Yeah.
And what had you tried in the past? Just if you don't mind.
That's fine. Am I allowed to name?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Okay, just want to check. So I tried Slimming World. And I had lost all the weight I wanted to lose on Slimming World. It took me quite a long time. I was a bit of a snail's pace, but the weight was all I was focused on, really. And then once I'd lost that weight, I didn't find the program sustainable, and I couldn't maintain it because I didn't want to eat Muller Light yogurts for the rest of my life. And I was quite skeptical about some of the food promoted through it. You know, that things like a lot of processed food was heavily promoted through the program, and I didn't want to eat like that forever. And I thought, for a short-term thing, I can eat like this just to lose the weight, and then I'll get healthy and I'll keep it off. But it's just not the way it worked, and I'm not good at things like measuring cheese.
Yeah.
I don't want to measure cheese.
No, I know.
The cheese made me really sad.
Oh.
So yeah, it wasn't sustainable, and it wasn't a way that I really felt like fit with my family brilliantly. I've got she was 5 or 6 at the time, my daughter, when I did it, and it wasn't a way I'd want her to eat, or necessarily to think that what I was eating was a good thing. She got quite into their own brand of cereal bars. My daughter really liked those, and I just thought, I don't think these are a great thing for you to be eating, but you're eating them because you're seeing me eating them. So that was one thing I tried. Then the other one was calorie counting with MyFitnessPal, and again, I could lose weight doing it, but I just found the constant counting and having to enter things and find things, again, unsustainable, especially where I don't really have the time to do it as I eat, because it's often on the go. Yeah. So then I'd have to sit down in the evening and try and remember everything I'd eaten. And, you know, if you just grabbed a bite of something here or there, it was just really hard to maintain. I could do it again short term, but not consistently.
Yeah. Sounds like you just described my past history. I always used to get so far with something, and then a few weeks, months, sometimes even like years down the line, it would just be like, oh my God, here we are back at the beginning again.
Yeah. And I would look at my progress on MyFitnessPal, and I'd feel really discouraged every time I looked at it, because I would go down on the graph, and then I'd go back up higher than I'd been before, and then I'd start again and I'd go back down. But it was just constantly with it going back up again. It wasn't just wasn't sustainable.
And
so
yeah, I totally feel you. I've got years and years of MyFitnessPal data still in my app. I don't use it anymore, but sometimes I go back and look at it just to remind myself of why I don't use it anymore. I can remember, like, I'm having flashbacks of me, like, in the morning waking up and like weighing out like yogurt and stuff, and I think, oh my God, it's like, who is that person? It's all the weighing and the measuring, and I just don't have the time or the patience or the commitment to weighing and measuring. I know, and I think that's what. But this is one of the questions I get asked. Sorry, going off on a tangent here. A lot when people are sort of thinking about joining Ditch the Diet, it's like, well, how can I possibly lose weight, or how can I possibly change the way that I want to change if I'm not weighing and measuring things? Is that something that you found? How have you found that? How have you found getting used to not doing that anymore?
I think quite liberating, actually. Sometimes I felt a bit nervous when I'm looking at my portion of something, whether I'm getting it right or not. And so having to sort of consciously remind myself, you don't need to do that. It's that thing with that comes in the program of the sort of by eye, and you're just thinking about what's my protein here, my carbohydrate, and so just having that in mind but not being really obsessive about it is quite liberating. But it does take, I think it's going to take a while before it's just part of what I do, rather than consciously having to remind myself.
Yeah. So you've been a member for how long now?
So I'm on day 10 of Transform 21. And I did the 5-day intro before that, so just over 2 weeks. But I think there was a bit of a gap between the two, so it's a little bit longer, probably coming up for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And how did you find out about Ditch the Diet, by the way?
I'm on a parenting group on Facebook, and someone had asked for recommendations to lose weight and improve health, and someone recommended it. And when one person recommended it, a few more people said, "Absolutely, this is brilliant."
Yeah,
and it was the only thing. It was the only thing I hadn't heard of before. You know, everyone was recommending all the usual stuff, so I looked into it from there.
Oh, that's cool. That's interesting, actually, because I never really. It's hard for me to find out where people have found out about it. So that's it. That's really cool. So, compared to how you felt before, I know it's only been a few weeks now. What's the biggest thing that has changed for you so far?
I think my mindset is changing, certainly about my health and how I look to an extent. Although I still struggle a bit with it, I feel more in control and positive about the changes that I'm making and that I'll continue to make. So I don't feel so negative when I look in the mirror, because I think I've started the process now of getting my health back a bit. And I feel like that focus on health is much healthier. That I'm not thinking I need to lose weight or my body needs to look a certain way or be smaller. It's not about that as much anymore. It's things like I'm drinking more water and I'm eating more fruit and vegetables. I'm outside more and I'm walking more. So it's not all about what are the good foods, what are the bad foods. I can't eat that. I want to be smaller. I want to be lighter. I don't feel guilty about food as much because I feel good about what I'm eating for the most part. And then if we're out and I have an ice cream or I feel like having a bit of chocolate, then I do that, but I think about it rather than just binging. So I think the food guilt has definitely diminished quite quickly, actually, because I feel better about what I'm eating and about my activity levels.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you said you had a family, is that right? Do you have...
Yeah, I have a daughter who's 7 now.
Yep.
And so, I think she's benefiting from it too, because making me more conscious of what I'm eating has obviously had an impact on what she and my husband eat, especially over the school holidays, because it's me feeding her all the time, not school, or sometimes my husband if I'm out late. And things I think that she thought she didn't like, she's been eating without complaint. So we've had a lot more broccoli.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And how have you been finding fitting in, following the program and all that kind of thing around family? And obviously you've been off work, so. Work's not been in the mix.
So that's been great, but no, not a problem really. I don't think I've really felt like I've had to fit anything around it, just works. So I'm thinking more about the meals that we're eating as a family together. So they're benefiting from that. But if we've had quite a lot of days out, I guess, because of the summer holidays. And so I've either taken snacks or sitting in a cafe or a restaurant or whatever. I am probably making better choices. With the family, it's not really a challenge, I don't think. If anything, it's positive for them. With my steps, sometime last night I realised I hadn't done enough, and so I went for an extra walk. But we're probably doing a lot more walking as a family because I want to get out and walk more. I think it's had a really positive effect, and it's not been a great hardship to fit it in.
Sounds amazing. Yeah. Where do I sign up? Speaking of signing up, what advice would you give to someone that's listening to the podcast today and has been perhaps thinking about getting in touch with Ditch the Diet and asking to join? What advice would you give them?
I feel like a real evangelical, I think. Like, I would just say absolutely do it, because I don't think anything can hurt from trying, and as you know, I did just try it to start with. And I was a little bit apprehensive, but even I was on holiday when I started. I was in New York, and I still managed to do the things that were required, those little daily tasks and habit changes. It is really manageable. And I think if you're looking for a way to improve your health and not just a quick fix to lose weight, then this is absolutely the right thing for someone to try. I think it's really manageable. As you know, as I say, with being on holiday, I still managed it. I'm managing it around the family, and I feel quite positive about how I'll manage it around work. I think it's adaptable to anyone as well. I see a lot in the Facebook group about different challenges people have, and the level of support they always receive is brilliant. And I think everyone's working through it at their own pace. There's not an expectation to lose the most pounds in a week between everybody, or anything like that. There's no competition, or everyone's doing the same thing at the same time. So I think if you want something that you can tailor to yourself and is about your health, then absolutely try it. I'm really glad I tried it.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Just before we wrap up, I have one more question that I should have asked before. You said you were a bit apprehensive about signing up. Was there something in particular that, I usually ask people that? What were you worrying about it before you started?
Just the fear of failure, I think. Again, when you've tried different things and you've lost weight and you've gained it back, is just, will I be able to do it? Will I be able to stick to this? And will the program promote the kind of things that I can get on board with? That it's not going to promote all the processed food that I don't really want to be eating, but it's also not going to promote an absolute. I didn't mention I dabbled a bit in clean eating as well, but it's not going to go that complete opposite extreme where you can only eat unprocessed food. And just that, is this going to work with my lifestyle, and will I fail? I think was what made me nervous. But it's really not. I don't think there's any failure that's possible now. I know. Now I know more about the academy, and it absolutely fits. I think it could fit with any lifestyle, really, unless you really just wanted to eat McDonald's every day.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time today. It's very much appreciated. A lovely episode, and a big thank you to Nina, one of our Ditch the Diet Academy members, for spending the time with us today to tell us all about what her life was like before and what it's like now that she's joined Ditch the Diet, and just to give you a bit of an insight as to what you can expect when you join as well. Speaking of joining the Academy, we are reopening very, very soon, middle of September, but before we even do that, I am running a 5-day introductory programme that starts this Sunday, the 31st of August. To give you a bit of a flavour of what you can expect when you become a Ditch the Diet Academy member, there is absolutely no commitment. If at the end of the 5 days you think it's just not for you, you can just go away. And there are no restrictions. You don't have to join. If, however, you really like what you have experienced, then you can go ahead and become a fully fledged member. So if you want to join the 5-day introduction, all you need to do is go to www.ditchthedietacademy.com/5 days, the number 5 and the word days, or just scroll down on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this, and just click on the link, and that is all you need to do. Just register, and you'll be taken to the group, and you'll be prepared for our 5-day introduction to Ditch the Diet that starts this Sunday. It's very exciting. So again, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the little insider information on the Academy. If you do have any questions, you can email me. It's rach@ditchthedietacademy.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. We have loads of really, really good episodes coming up, so don't miss out. Just hit the subscribe button. And I will see you this Thursday for another episode of the Ditch the Diet podcast. Thanks for listening.